Welcome dear students. Today we are going to revise our second poem of Flamingo book, An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum. This has been composed by Stephen Spender, who was born in 1909 and died in 1995. He was a most prolific English poet. He belonged to England, and if you can recollect, he is the same person who came to Gemini Studios and whose identity was not known even to a single person working in Gemini Studios. And later Ashoka Mitran came to know about him. Right? He wrote a book on the 50 years completion of a Russian revolution. So by that, by the title of that book, by the from the list of the essayists who wrote that book, Ashoka Mitran came to know about his name. So I just wanted to share this information that we have already read. Stephen Spender always tried to highlight the social issues because he worked as a socialist and as a pacifist. He was a peace messenger and a social worker. Most of his works give us a social touch of his contemporary age. In this present poem also, his attachment to social issues have been depicted. The theme of this poem is the social injustice and class inequalities. He has tried to delineate the problem of poor people, poor children of a society who are not given the opportunity of acquiring good education and living a good social life. They have been deprived of their basic rights. Poor children are forced to live a life where there is no basic facility, no basic amenity. So they are left to languish there. Let us read the poem. Far, far from gusty waves, these children faces. Now before that, let us know what does the title say. An elementary school classroom in a slum. Stephen Spender has created an image before us, rather he is trying to delineate the problem or the scene of a classroom which is located in a slum area. A slum area, and the classroom is of elementary level, means the lower standard of a school. Elementary, that is initial, ab initio stage of learning. So there is a school, there is a small classroom situated in a slum area where some children are sitting in a classroom and they are very poor. They don't have even food to fill up their belly. They are suffering from malnutrition. They are so poor that they can't even help themselves taking education or living a life like the other people of rich society. So Stephen has tried to highlight the issue and he has tried to bring this problem of the children to our notice, to the reader's notice. Far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces. Means far, far means very far, very far from gusty waves. Gusty waves here indicates energy, okay, life. These children's faces. there is no life, there is no energy, there is no hue or complexion on the faces of the children. The life which is full of energy is far away from their faces, from their life. Right? Gusty waves means, gusty, it means a speedy waves, speedy wind. Speedy wind is here a metaphor which is an indication of energy, a life full of energy. So उन बच्चों के चेहरे पे कोई एनर्जी दूर दूर तक दिखाई नहीं देती है. Like rootless weeds, they hair torn round their pallor. Like rootless weeds means these children are just like rootless weeds, as the weeds are not required in our farms. They grow by their own, and after a certain periodicity they wither away. वो जल जाते हैं या मर जाते हैं. In the same way, these children are looking. Their face is so dull, there is no complexion, there is no charm on their face. So they are also looking like the rootless weeds, as if they are also withering away. वो भी ड्राई हो रहे हैं या just like a dead person. Second meaning of this phrase is rootless weeds. For the society of the rich people, these children are unwanted. They are unwanted. They are just like rootless weeds. They are of no use, no importance for the people who belong to high class society. So this stands for two meanings here. And like rootless weeds means it is a simile, figure of speech. The hair torn round their pallor. This is the description which indicates about their upkeeping. Means the hair are spread on their faces, and their pallor means yellowish faces. The face which is lacking a color, lacking energy, lacking complexion, जिसके ऊपर कोई चमक नहीं है, कोई चाम नहीं है, कोई खुशी नहीं है, उनके चेहरे के ऊपर उनके बाल ऐसे ही बिखरे हुए थे. Torn means untidy या uncombed. Okay, the tall girl with her weighed down head, and there in the classroom, in the same classroom, there is a tall girl sitting over there. She has bent her head down because she is suffering from utter poverty, responsibilities and liabilities of life. इन जिम्मेवारियों के बोझ के तले वो इतनी दब चुकी है कि वो अपने सिर को नीचे करके बैठी है. She is feeling shy even of the sufferings of her life. At such an early stage of life, she has been overburdened with the responsibilities which she has inherited from her parents. The paper seeming boy with rat's eyes. There is a boy sitting among them who is so lean and thin that he has been compared with a paper. Okay, he has been compared with a paper. So you can imagine if somebody is being compared with a paper, how weak physically he may be. Paper seeming boy here is a metaphor because the physique of that boy has been compared with a paper. So he is so lean and thin, he is so malnourished that his eyeballs are rotating from left to right, up, down, just like a rat. As you know, a rat is always found in search of food. It is always found searching for its food, and its eyes keep on rotating in all the directions so that it can find anything to eat. Similarly, that boy is looking here and there in the classroom as if he were searching for food because he was quite hungry. He was suffering from malnutrition. बहुत भूखा, कुपोषण का शिकार, एक रैट की आंखों की तरह उसकी आंखें इधर उधर घुमाते हुए पूरी क्लासरूम में ऐसा लग रहा था जैसे कि किसी खाने की तलाश में इधर उधर देख रहा हो. The stunted, unlucky ear of twisted bones, reciting a father's gnarled disease, his lesson from his desk. Stunted, stunted means undeveloped, undeveloped, जिसकी ग्रोथ ठीक से ना हुई हो. A stunted, unlucky ear, ear means a successor, successor, okay, उत्तराधिकारी. So there is an unlucky or unfortunate successor of his family. There is a boy who is an unfortunate, unlucky successor of his family whose physical growth has been stagnated, has been stopped. He is not, his physique is not grown fully, means उसका शरीर छोटा पड़ गया है because of malnutrition and the diseases he is suffering from. Of twisted bones, his body is bent, means his bones are twisted, deshaped, distorted, deformed. Reciting a father's gnarled disease. Reciting means he is inheriting. A gnarled disease means a disease which causes distortion of bones, deshape और डिफॉर्मेशन ऑफ बोन्स, जिसमें हड्डियाँ टेढ़ी मेढ़ी जाती हैं. सो उसके फादर में भी प्रॉब्लम थी. ये एक सीरियस डिजीज़ था जो उसके फादर भी इससे जूझ रहे थे. एंड ऐसा लगता है कि वो लड़का भी अपने फादर के उस सीरियस डिजीज़ को इनहेरिट करके लाया हो, मीन्स कैरी फॉरवर्ड उसने किया हो. जो उसके फादर को डिजीज़ था उस बच्चे को भी है. हिज लेसन फ्रॉम हिज डेस्क, एंड ही इज रीडिंग हिज लेसन फ्रॉम हिज डेस्क. Here also his lesson stands for double meaning, that his lesson, or you can say he is inheriting a lesson, or he is inheriting a lesson of a serious disease from his desk, and that disease he has inherited from his father who was also suffering from same. At back of that dim class, one unnoted, sweet and young. So in the same classroom there is, the light was very less, or it was dim, everything was not so light up. So in the dim classroom there was a small baby sitting at the rear of the classroom. He was sweet and young, means he was very cute, he was looking very smart, he was young and looking sweet. One unnoted means he was hardly noticed by anybody because of his height. He was hidden behind the other students. क्लास में पीछे बैठा हुआ है डिम लाइट में, जो कहीं ठीक से दिखाई नहीं दे रहा है सामने से. ओके, हिज आईज लिव इन ए ड्रीम. सो ही इज डिफरेंट फ्रॉम दीज children which we have already discussed about. He is dreaming of something. He is living in a dream, means he has nurtured a dream for himself. एक सपना देख रहा है of squirrel's game in a tree room. Other than this, classroom में क्या हो रहा है, he is not at all bothered about that. In the classroom he is looking through a window on a tree outside, and on that tree a squirrel was coming out and entering a tree hole. ओके, उस ट्री में एक होल है, वहाँ पे जो विंडो के बाहर वो देख रहा है, वहाँ पे एक ट्री है और ट्री में एक होल है, और उस होल के अंदर ये स्क्विरल कभी जा रही है अंदर, कभी बाहर निकल के आ रही है. मीन्स इट वॉज इंजॉइंग इट्स लाइफ. ओके, इट वॉज इंजॉइंग इट्स लाइफ. सो दैट baby also wanted to enjoy his life freely, without any bondage, without any captivity, just like that squirrel. He was dreaming of a better future of himself. He wanted to live a free life. So the tree room here is metaphor. The tree room is a metaphor here, and he was not at all bothered about the activities of the classroom, but he was seeing a dream of living a life full of happiness, energy, and enthusiasm, just like a squirrel which was enjoying its life with full freedom. In the second stanza, have you noted that there is no rhyme scheme, there is no fixed rhyme pattern has been followed. So this whole poem is written in a free verse, there is no rhyme scheme. On sour cream walls, this is about the description. Second stanza deals with the description of the classroom. वहाँ पे क्या क्या दिख रहा था. On sour cream walls, donations, Shakespeare's head, cloudless at dawn. So the classroom was not well furnished, it was not well maintained, it was lacking the sanitation and the usual look of a classroom. Sour cream walls, the walls were not painted freshly. The color of the walls were just like the sour cream, you can say yellowish and greenish. Okay, जैसे क्रीम खराब हो जाती है उसके बाद उससे जो कलर होता है डेवलप होता है, लाइक दैट जो वॉल्स हैं उनका कलर था. एंड दैट वाज बिकॉज ऑफ द सीपेज which occurs during the rainy season. So the walls were, you can say, crumbling and they were lacking the sheen. Donations, and on those walls there were some objects like sceneries, maps, and pictures of some renowned personalities were hanged on the walls. They were being donated by the rich class people. Among those, whatever was available in the classroom was Shakespeare's head, means his upper body, bust. Okay, bust, upper body, that is chest and head of a figure. So bust of William Shakespeare, the famous English playwright who is also known as father of English literature, was put there on the walls. Cloudless at dawn, there was a scenery which was free from any clouds and a rising sun was shown in that. Civilized dome riding all cities, another scenery which was showing the skyscraping buildings, means tall buildings with a civilized city with all the facilities available in that city. So एक सीनरी वो भी थी जिसमें एक सिविलाइज्ड सोसाइटी को दिखाया गया था और जो कि पूरी तरह से वेल अरेंज्ड, वेल इस्टेब्लिश्ड था, जिसमें सभी फैसिलिटीज़ थी. वैसी भी एक सीनरी वहाँ पे डिस्प्ले करके रखी थी. बेल्ड फ्लावरी टायरलीज वैली. टायरलीज वैली इज़ ए वैली इन ऑस्ट्रिया. इट इज़ ice free valley in country Austria. So there was one more picture of Tyrolese valley where the flowers, which was full of flowers, beautiful flowers having shape of bells. An open-handed map awarding the world its word. There was a map also hanging on the wall which was awarding the world its word, means there is the repetition of the same word, and first word stands for the people of this universe. Its word means its location. So there was a map, और जो इस दुनिया के लोगों को सभी देशों की लोकेशन और उनकी आइडेंटिटी के बारे में, उनकी बाउंड्रीज के बारे में जानकारी देता है. And yet for these children these windows not this map their world. The poet says that even after having displayed with these many things in the classroom, these children were not at all happy. They didn't have any concern with these objects, these things, whether it was William Shakespeare's head or civilized dome sceneries, Tyler's Valley, whatever. They were not at all concerned with it, because for them their map was confined to the place where they were dwelling, where they were living. उनकी ज़िंदगी, उनका मैप तो वही स्लम एरिया है जहाँ तक उनकी ज़िंदगी सिकुड़ के रह गई है. सो दैट्स वाई दे वर लीस्ट इंटरेस्टेड इन वट एवर वॉज डिस्प्लेड ऑन दी classroom walls, because for them their world was whatever they could see through the classroom window, and beyond that classroom window they could see only slum and slum area, nothing more than that, because they were not being facilitated by the responsible people of the society and the governing body of this government. They never did anything for their upliftment, where all their futures painted with a fog. And these students were living at a place that is a slum area where they could not see any ray of hope. Their life was full of despair and agony. Their future was full of darkness, just like fog. So future painted with a fog means here also it is a metaphor. Fog here stands for darkness, unhappiness or lack of hope in their life. उनके बच्चों की जिंदगी में अंधेरा ही अंधेरा छाया हुआ है. A narrow street sealed in with a lead sky. So where they were living, there they could see only a narrow street, a congested place, above which the cloud of darkness or the atmosphere was dirty, it was polluted. So where they were living, their streets, above their streets there was a huge cloud of polluted air, smoke, which was released from the factories and other manufacturing units. So a lead sky means a dark future of those kids, of those children. This is also a metaphor here. Street sealed, this is an alliteration. This is an alliteration. Far, far from rivers, capes and stars of words. Far, far, again it has been repeated. So this is the repetition figure of speech. In the beginning also we noticed this far, far. This is also repetition as well as alliteration. So far, far from their rivers, the children are staying away, or you can say they are living a life which is quite away from the beauty of the rivers, beauty of islands and stars of words. Means stars of words here stands for the lucrative words of the politicians, because politicians पुअर पीपल को गरीब लोगों का यूज़ करते हैं, उनका मिसयूज़ करते हैं, उनको लुभावनी बातें, उनको फॉल्स प्रॉमिस करते हैं, which are never fulfilled by them. Okay, those stars of words means they never meet any politicians. They never enjoy a beauty of any island. They never enjoy a beauty of the rivers which flow endlessly and spontaneously, and they are free from the beauty of the actual world which exists beyond their slum area. So we will continue the left out two stanza in our next session. Thank you, dear students.